what do you feel like is enough in your life? And how would you kind of define that if I kind of, if I was to ask you?
I think the first thing that comes to mind of how I define what enough is, the biggest challenge I had with Buddhism was the invitation to do no harm. And I realized that that's a trap. We can't do no harm. So no matter what you're doing, it'll never be enough, because you could always, you know what I mean? Like, there's your mere existence causes harm. You're one more person,
Yeah.
In an overpopulated world, your mere existence is problematic, So I was just like, this is setting me up to fail. I don't like this part of Buddhism. And so I changed it, and I don't think the Buddha would mind, but I changed it from do no harm to do less harm. So if at any given moment I am presented with an option and I go, okay, what's the least harm I can cause by making this choice? If I'm going to eat lunch, how can I do less harm? What's the least harmful choice I can make to meet my lunch dietary needs, my caloric needs for the day, in the least harmful way, with the least problematic ripple effects that I know of at this moment. Now, I may look back and realize, oh, there were definitely other choices, but I can't punish my old self for not knowing what I didn't know at the time. As of right now, as of today, in this moment, how can I do less harm? And if at the end of the day, I go to bed knowing that at every turn, I chose the option that was least harmful to myself and to the world around me, that I was living in line with my values, that I was one less person, causing pollution, then by default, I'm part of the solution. And that is enough, So even if you're just sitting on your stoop drinking a cup of tea, if that's all you've done today, fair trade tea, then yeah, you're already, that's enough. If anything you've done on top of that to help others, to alleviate some other suffering, that's wonderful. That's extra credit. But enough is just not being part of the pollution. I don't know if that answers your question, but it's not tangible enoughness. It's internal, almost reconciling my existence in this world, being part of it, and figuring out how can I not necessarily contribute to make it greater, but how can I not make it worse? It's the leave no trace mentality. If you're staying in someone's home, how can I leave it, maybe even better than I found it, but definitely not worse? How can am I making sense? I'm all over the place with metaphors.
Yeah, so definitely. So how am I contributing to my own suffering and the suffering of the world around me? This seems
How
like
can I
quite a,
minimize it? Yeah.
yeah. How can you minimize it? And in what ways are you contributing to it, I guess?
Exactly.
And there's a sense of that question being quite a deep one, and there's a lot of layers to it. And like you mentioned, there is also a sense of, how could I do the least amount, instead of getting caught up with the idea of doing none at all, because just by being who you are, it's happening. So how do you approach such a large question though? Because it sounds like, if I'm at someone's house and I'm being mindful not to leave, maybe this comes back to the sense of presence, but I'm being kind of mindful to not leave any trace and leave things as I found them. And then if I can do some good, great. But are there kind of, do you go into like a contemplation, or have you done this before, into like the different kind of levels of how, you are kind of contributing to suffering, or how you may be or may have been, and how you may be able to alleviate that? Is that a space of exploration, or is it more of a natural flow?
I mean, you're talking about the Eightfold Path. You're talking about, what is, and in Buddhism, yes, it's unfortunate that the translation is, right speech, right action. I don't like the word right because it implies a wrong. I like using the words conducive or detrimental. Is this conducive to the path I want to lead, or is this detrimental? If I'm in someone's house, is the making this choice going to be conducive to my intention to leaving no trace, or is it detrimental to my ultimate intention? If I want to be healthy, is this choice I'm about to make contributing to that, or is it detrimental to that? It's not right or wrong. You can't, it's just because because that also it removes any conflict with others, because then you're not saying, well, this is right and this is wrong, which means it's right and wrong for others. Like, absolutely not. For me right now in this moment, this decision is either detrimental or beneficial to my ultimate intention.
If you enjoyed this clip, the full episode will be made available up here somewhere, so feel free to check that out. If you're someone that's interested in working one-on-one with me and developing your practice of presence, reflecting on your life at the moment, and calibrating your trajectory, then feel free to head over to todaydreamer.com and get in touch. There's also a full catalogue of episodes available on the website, which are there to help you cultivate the practice of presence so that you can more deeply participate in the blossoming of the emergent world story. Until next time, be well.